Welcome to Zero to Start, a podcast about immersive development that brings you inspiring conversations with immersive creators, developers, and industry leaders. I'm your host, Ceciliana Trevino. Our first episode of 2024 is on the eve of the Apple Vision Pro pre-order, happening tomorrow, Friday, January 19th at 5 a.m. Pacific. Will you be there? The era of spatial computing has arrived. Apple Vision Pro is the most advanced consumer electronics device ever created. Its revolutionary and magical user interface will redefine how we connect, create, and explore. The anticipation of the Apple Vision Pro is at a fever pitch, providing fuel for the endless debate over the semantics of AR, VR, XR, the Metaverse, and now spatial computing. On today's show, we're diving into Apple's press release and reflecting on what this new era means for creators, early adopters, and consumers. Let's get started. Happy New Year, and thanks for joining me on this Reflections episode of Zero to Start, where we dive into the Apple newsroom and break down the announcement last week that the Apple Vision Pro will be available beginning Friday, February 2nd at all U.S. Apple Store locations and the U.S. Apple Store online. Apple says the Vision Pro is a revolutionary spatial computer that transforms how people work, collaborate, connect, relive memories, and enjoy entertainment. Vision Pro seamlessly blends digital content with the physical world and unlocks powerful spatial experiences in Vision OS, controlled by the most natural and intuitive inputs possible: a user's eyes, hands, and voice. An all-new App Store provides users with access to more than 1 million compatible apps across iOS and iPad OS, as well as new experiences that take advantage of the unique capabilities of Vision Pro. Pre-orders for Apple Vision Pro begin tomorrow, Friday, January 18th at 5 a.m. Pacific. Ever since this announcement, the introduction of spatial computing by Apple, not that they invented the term, but it reignites this community debate over which terms people should use to define the industry. And it becomes, for me, it's a little bit endearing because you can always rely on the community to have these debates over which term is better or more applicable or who came up with the term. And it's not really new. And since its announcement, a lot of news around what's going to be available in the headset has come out. It's just this steady stream of content releases and features and expectations of, one of the most highly anticipated devices in a generation. So if you remember the first time you got an iPhone and have that memory of like, this changes the way that we're engaging with technology and the internet, and it is changing human behavior and causing a lot of disruption in the way that we engage with media and the way that we consume content. So there's no doubt that Apple's going to set a really high bar on the user interface and digital content. They talk about unlocking powerful spatial experiences, and it's an exciting time to watch and be a part of something that we've been waiting for in the industry decades and decades, even though we know this is just another milestone. In particular, when you compare it to the release of the Quest, where it was just really game heavy and trying to define really what the use cases are beyond industrial and enterprise, and trying to capture the power of the gaming market. So they're two distinct devices that don't really, even though they're working with a lot of the same technology, they're trying not to cross the streams. You have Meta, who has, in 2014, releasing the developer kit. There's all that history of building the tools and making those first early mistakes that follows that pattern of companies creating new hardware and new ways to listen to music or watch videos and new formats. And then Apple coming in with their take on it and creating that seamless experience so that you don't really notice the device as much because you're so busy being in the magic of how it works and the new ways that you can open an app or send a message and share your experiences with your community and your families. So the opportunity here for an early adopter and a new designer is tremendous. I saw this headline on TechCrunch that said that this Apple Vision Pro is not for you. I think it is for you. Like if you are someone who has an iPhone or is going to get the new iPhone 15 and wants to take a 3D photo and see it in 3D on this device and show your family, that's a profound moment. Like I think back on the last episode with Kent Bai and his point around photography and photo apps being the killer app for the headset, it makes sense that even though it's a high price point, you're paying for a new computer that will allow you to experience your memories in a whole new way. And that's worth the price of entry for anyone who wants to capture, who wants to immerse themselves in a memory. And that's just all the magic of the science fiction that the community has been talking about for decades. But it's no longer imaginary. It's here. If you were to compare a Magic Leap headset to a Vision Pro, as some people are, I just don't think it's anything close because Magic Leap doesn't have a complete ecosystem where they have access to 1 million apps. They're saying here 1 million compatible apps across 2 devices plus new experiences. I don't know that's not really a comparison. I just don't know how you could try to say that. And it's just Magic Leap is just, to me, fumes. So they can announce that they're getting an influx of investment, but like, where's that going? Like, what are they doing over there? Good for them. That's exciting. I mean, but to me, that money could be better spent somewhere else. Let's take a look. Let's continue on. Apple Vision Pro is powered by Vision OS, which is built on the foundation of decades of engineering innovation in Mac OS, iOS, and iPad OS. Vision OS delivers powerful spatial experiences, unlocking new opportunities at work and at home. Featuring a brand new 3-dimensional user interface and input system controlled entirely by a user's eyes, hands, and voice, navigation feels magical. Intuitive gestures allow users to interact with apps by simply looking at them, tapping their fingers to select, clicking their wrist to scroll, or using a virtual keyboard or dictation to type. With Siri, users can quickly open or close apps, play media, and more. Users can also immerse themselves in environments, dynamic, beautiful landscapes like Joshua Tree and Yosemite National Parks, and even the surface of the moon to help them focus or reduce clutter in busy spaces. With environments, a user's world can grow beyond the dimensions of a physical room. With a twist of the digital crown, users can control how present or immersed they are in an environment. What stands out here is that how present or immersed you want to be in an environment. So it puts the power into the hands of the player who now has levels of presence, but they're thinking about it in a way that they haven't really had to think about before, which again goes back to what Kent was saying about different types of reality, not virtual and real, but physical and digital. It'll be interesting to see how a user can control their level of presence, because that's something that a lot of people can benefit from if they're working in a physical space and the headset is comfortable enough to wear eventually for a long duration of time. The ability to focus or reduce clutter in busy spaces could be a game changer for some folks, and being able to design their environment in a much more comfortable way, whether they're in the office or working from home. So I think this really introduces something unique and compelling, because it's going to mean the design following it has to be reaching that level of comfort where the user is defining how present they are. It's an empowering feeling. And especially if, with the proliferation of noise canceling headphones, this is like that for your visual environment. I think that can help a lot of people if you felt like you couldn't get away for whatever reason, and you can still do your work remotely from a national park. The introduction of the digital crown is going to be something that could be a device-defining feature that you'll start to see other headset manufacturers incorporate, depending on how the user responds to this. But to me, that's a really exciting component and can do a lot to advance productivity and feeling comfortable in whatever space you might find yourself, or for instance, like on a plane. Apple Vision Pro brings a new dimension to powerful personal computing by changing the way users interact with their apps. The three-dimensional interface frees apps from the boundaries of a display so they can appear side by side at any scale, providing the ultimate workspace and creating an infinite canvas for multitasking and collaborating. Since Vision OS leverages existing developer frameworks, more than 1 million familiar apps across iOS and iPad are available on Apple Vision Pro and automatically work with the new input system. Vision Pro also has an all-new app store where users can find apps that deliver spatial computing experiences unlike any other platform. Apps can be arranged anywhere and scaled to the perfect size, all while allowing the user to stay present in their space. So again, I think this level of customization and spreading things out across a screen that doesn't feel like it's there is going to be really seductive. It just is another layer of design aesthetics that help people focus and design their spatial desktop. I also like this. It goes into more detail around an infinite canvas for productivity with key productivity and collaboration apps like Fantastical, Freeform, Jigspace, apps from Microsoft 365 and Slack. Apple Vision Pro is an ideal productivity tool for everyday tasks. Apps can appear side by side at any scale for incredible multitasking. And with support for Magic Keyboard and Magic Trackpad, users can create the perfect workspace. With Mac Virtual Display, users can even bring the powerful capabilities of their Mac into Vision Pro, creating an enormous, private, and portable 4K display ideal for pro workflows. I think the weight of the headset will have an impact on how productive, or how long you can be productive in this space. I could easily see it being something that you want an extra battery, or you want to be able to charge it right up. You're not going to want to see it go dark. That sense of an infinite canvas is not so infinite when the comfort's not there. So I think that's where it's going to run up against, is like, really, are you going to start to see things overheating? Like, what kind of bugs are going to be introduced when you go from one headset or the test headset to 100,000 headsets? Apple Vision Pro features ultra-high resolution displays that deliver more pixels than a 4K TV for each eye, enabling users to watch movies and TV shows from Apple TV, Disney Plus, Max, and other services on a screen that feels 100 feet wide with support for HDR content. Within the Apple TV app, users can access more than 150 3D titles with incredible depth wherever they are. Vision Pro also introduces Apple Immersive Video, a remarkable new entertainment format pioneered by Apple that puts users inside the action with 180-degree, three-dimensional 8K recordings captured with spatial audio. Users can also enjoy new interactive experiences like encounter dinosaurs. This, again, I think is going to be an exciting way to watch your media and the immersive video component. I could easily see people wanting to extend the wear of the headset. So depending on how familiar you are with different headsets, you'll know your own comfort level. But if you've never had a headset before, getting the right fit can make a big difference in the wearability of the headset. Maybe we'll see some peripherals starting to come out to counterbalance the weight. But I think that it's going to be something that if you fell in love with your iPhone the first time you got it, you just wanted to start learning how to design for it. And when I first got my iPhone, I signed up for their tutorial workshops and courses, right? So you could take all these different classes about all these different things that you could do with the phone. And to me, it felt weird because on the one hand, everyone was learning together, but then I just felt like, oh, right, like you can't just sit still. You have to keep learning new stuff all the time because all of a sudden I was like, oh, look, I can text with my phone. How cute. Look, keypad. Ooh, toot, toot, toot. And then all of a sudden I'm like swiping, showing video on my phone. And I needed a little mini course to learn how to use it. And I wanted to just learn more. I am feeling this excitement over what kind of project I want to make with the Vision Pro. I've always wanted to make something on iOS, having made Oculus Go and Quest apps, and having published a game on the Google Play Store with War of the Worlds, interactive podcast, action adventure game, which I got so far as having a demo on test flight when Bose deprecated their SDK. So that went away. And with the launch of the Vision Pro, it feels like an old project could be resurrected, right? Like, even though, I think as indie game developers or even in bigger companies might be thinking about what can we do with the Vision Pro? How can we take our existing apps and make it work for that? Or how can we port our VR game, which you can't call it a VR game. You have to call it spatial computing. There's a whole, in the Apple documentation for developers, there's a whole protocol about what the verbiage should be around in terms of your immersive spatial computing app. So there's definitely some new learning curves, and it feels like we're starting all over again, or at least for me, it does feel like this new moment of beginning. And I think that's what's both scary and attractive about being in this immersive space, is this constant change and friction between the past, the present, and the future. Is just this focus on the future with the tools that we have now and having these long vision roadmaps of when we're going to get there and then having to pivot. And so it'll be interesting to see if projects, if you're making a new project and with all of these new affordances, or if you're taking an older project that you think would fit with the device, like now is the time it's ready for that device. And it seems like it could be a good fit, particularly with spatial audio, which I'm really excited about also. Of course, there will be games. I, for one, feel really like the thing I really want to play is Candy Crush and see how it feels to play Candy Crush, because I would love to have like a more spatial Candy Crush game in VR. It's something that there have been very early attempts back in 2017. There was a Candy Crush clone on the Steam store in VR, but it wasn't quite the polish that it really needed to be. games and puzzles, I think, will be fun. But back to the newsroom. They say new gaming experiences. Players can access games on the App Store, including more than 250 titles on Apple Arcade. Hit games like NBA 2K24 Arcade Edition and Sonic Dream Team can be played on screen as large as they want, with incredible audio and support for popular game controllers. Support for popular game controllers. So you can use it with a game controller? What does that look like? New spatial games, including Game Room, What the Golf, and Super Fruit Ninja, take advantage of the powerful capabilities of Apple Vision Pro to transform the space around players, offering unique and engaging gameplay experiences. So I like the way it's talking about transforming the space around players. Instead of saying you can have mixed reality games, it doesn't say anything about reality. It's about the ability of the device to transform the space around players. It does talk, it's entertainment, it's immersive video, but they're not talking about changing your reality. I think it goes back to the name, even with the Apple Vision Pro. It's the first device that doesn't have an eye in front of it, even though you're using your eye. Like, they're not calling it the eye eyes or the eye computer or the eye face or the eye space. So is there going to be an Apple Vision 1 point? Like, with the Pro, it's like, okay, it's more of a higher end device, and early adopters and designers and enterprise might take a look, but why don't they use the eye in front of it? Is this signaling that all the following devices will be vision devices? Why isn't it called iSpatial Pro or Spatial Computing Pro or computer face? So not things that keep me up at night, but something that I really am curious about in terms of the conversations around what they want to call it and the history that they want to be a part of by delineating themselves as a spatial computing device versus a mixed reality, augmented reality, virtual reality. I think they just want to remind people these are computers, and this is a new and compelling way to compute. The next thing coming up is memories brought to life. Apple Vision Pro enables users to capture and relive their favorite memories in entirely new ways. Spatial photos and videos transport users back to a special moment in time, and spatial audio makes the experience incredibly immersive. When users are on the go, they can capture spatial video on their iPhone 15 Pro or iPhone 15 Pro Max and relive them on Vision Pro. Users can also view all their photos and videos at a life-size scale with brilliant color and spectacular detail, including panoramas that expand and wrap around the user, making them feel like they are right where it was taken. When I read something like that, it gives me the chills. This is putting the power of 3D capture in the hands of anyone who has an iPhone, and then they can relive it. And yeah, cat videos, dog videos, baby videos. This is the way that it could really alter the way that we capture memories. And going back to the last podcast episode with Kent Bai, he talks exactly about this being a game changer. And I think it also, that's what's going to separate this headset from the other headsets. Even though this is coming from the company website and they want to make it sound all flowery, like everything is going to be great, there are, for a developer, I'm sure there's a lot more details under the hood that might not make this device something you want to develop for right away. But anyone who has a family member where they're documenting their family history, or has family that's having a golden anniversary or a special occasion or weddings, anyone can take advantage of using this right now for the price of $3,500. So in a year, your baby's first walking, your first puppy, gender reveal parties, baby showers, like Everyone wants to be able to relive their memories of their favorite moments. There's really nothing else that will kind of compete with that. We'll see, if it actually works out that way. But I think if you are wondering to get the headset or not, just in the ability even to offer that, to be able to offer that to someone alone, like the family could chip in for a family headset and say, hey, it's Dad's 80th birthday coming up. Let's all make sure that we capture this and share this with the family, so that like you could set that. There's just so many different ways that the $3,500 becomes less of a obstacle when you think about the ways that you can use this today that will benefit the next generation, who will be able to see these memories in 3D that you can't get again, right? People are only born once. You're going to want to have the most memorable capture that you can, if you can. So to me, that right there is worth $3,500. And then of course, once you're done with that, you're like, okay, FaceTime becomes spatial. FaceTime on Apple Vision Pro takes advantage of the space around the user so that everyone on a call appears life-size, while spatial audio makes it sound like each person's voice comes from the location of their tile. If a user is wearing Vision Pro while on FaceTime, they appear as their persona, while others joining from a Mac, iPad, or phone will appear in a tile. Persona is an authentic spatial representation of an Apple Vision Pro user that enables others on a call to see their facial expressions and hand movements all in real time. Using machine learning techniques, a persona can be created in just minutes using Vision Pro. Personas also work in third-party video conferencing apps, including Zoom, Cisco, WebEx, and Microsoft Teams. Sold, sold, sold. Apple Vision Pro builds on Apple innovation and experience, designing high-performance products like Mac, iPhone, and wearables like Apple Watch, culminating in the most advanced personal electronics device ever. OMG. An astonishing amount of technology is packed into a beautiful, compact design that utilizes the most advanced materials possible to achieve ambitious goals for performance, mobility, and wearability. Apple Vision Pro is designed as a modular system so users can personalize their fit. A singular piece of three-dimensionally formed laminated glass gently curves around the user's face and flows into the custom aluminum alloy frame. The light seal is made of a soft textile and comes in a range of shapes and sizes, flexing to conform to a user's face for a precise fit. Flexible straps ensure audio remains close to the user's ears, while the included solo knit band and dual loop band allow users to find the optimal fit for them. For those with vision correction needs, Zeiss optical inserts are available with a prescription or as readers that magnetically attach to Vision Pro, allowing users to take full advantage of the display's incredible sharpness and clarity. Unrivaled innovation. Apple Vision Pro is designed to deliver phenomenal compute performance in a compact wearable form factor, featuring a breakthrough ultra-high-resolution display system built on top of Apple Silicon. Vision Pro uses micro OLED technology to pack 23 million pixels into two displays, each the size of a postage stamp. With wide color and high dynamic range, this technological breakthrough, combined with custom lenses that enable incredible sharpness and clarity and advanced spatial audio, delivers jaw-dropping experiences. Apple Vision Pro also features a high-performance eye tracking system that uses high-speed cameras and a ring of LEDs that project invisible light patterns onto the user's eyes for responsive, intuitive input. And to help the user stay connected to the people around them, Apple designed a groundbreaking new feature called EyeSight, spelled EYESIGHT. When a person approaches someone wearing Vision Pro, the device looks transparent, letting the user see them while also displaying the user's eyes. When a user is immersed in an environment or using an app, EyeSight gives visual cues to others about what the user is focused on. The breakthrough display, advanced audio experiences, high-performance eye tracking system, and more are powered by Apple Silicon in a unique dual-chip design. The M2 chip delivers powerful standalone performance, while the brand new R1 chip processes input from 12 cameras, 5 sensors, and 6 microphones to ensure that content feels like it is appearing right in front of the user's eyes. The picture here is pretty creepy. And I was curious how that worked, actually, if that was on all the time or if it was something that you could turn on or off. But it sounds like someone approaches you as in proximity triggers the visual display of your face, of your eyes. And I would like to know if that's something that you can change. Like, can you put cartoon eyes there? That would be really cool. I mean, maybe it defeats the purpose a little bit, but it's definitely kind of creepy. And I can't wait to play with it because it's just kind of unusual and odd. And I wonder how effective it is as a way to make people comfortable with someone wearing the headset, because there is a big friction point around people not even liking the idea of wearing something on your face, because it feels like it's isolating. It's an interesting approach, and we'll see how that plays out when we get it on February 2nd. Okay, diving into privacy and security. Privacy and security at its core. Apple Vision Pro offers industry-leading privacy and security. Optic ID is a new authentication system that analyzes a user's iris to unlock Vision Pro, autofill passwords, and complete payments with Apple Pay. I want to complete some payments with Apple Pay in my Vision Pro and just like wink, wink, making it way too easy to make purchases. That's the thing. Like this is what's interesting. Like if this device can figure out how to make people want to make payments just by wearing the device, right? I really like buying digital goods in my Quest Pro. I think even though it's just like you've got the touchpad and you use that, buying from a headset, it's not like, oh, it's such an enjoyable experience. But there's something very sticky about buying something in a VR headset, especially if it's for my avatar. Yeah, so you're going to be able to just, I guess, wink and then it'll magically go into your cart and pay. Apple Vision Pro offers industry-leading privacy and security. Optic ID is a new authentication system that analyzes a user's iris to unlock Vision Pro, autofill passwords, and complete payments with Apple Pay, where a user stays private while navigating Vision Pro, and eye tracking information is not shared with Apple, third-party apps, or websites. EyeSight also includes a visual indicator that makes it clear to others when a user is capturing a spatial photo or video. Accessibility in Vision OS. As with all Apple products, powerful accessibility features have been built right into Vision OS. Key accessibility features like VoiceOver, Zoom, switch control, guided access, and more have been reimagined for spatial computing. Users can interact with Apple Vision Pro entirely with their eyes, hands, or voice, or any combination that works best for them. They can select a preferred input method, such as their eyes, finger, or wrist using pointer control, pause on an element of Vision OS for a few seconds to simulate a tap using dwell control, or simply use voice commands for activities across Vision Pro using voice control. If input from both eyes is not an option, Vision OS also allows eye tracking with one dominant eye. I think this is an interesting time for voice, and it should get developers and creators thinking about voice SEO and look into these developments around creating optimization in your content for voice and seeing how that might actually, if you're able to create a little lift in your content for devices just like this. I would be looking at, voice SEO and, again, any kind of project that might have been put by the wayside that has a spatial audio component to it. Because these accessibility features can, I think, put new life into old projects and inspire some really interesting new ideas. Apple Vision Pro and the environment. Apple Vision Pro is designed with the environment in mind, with 100% recycled rare earth elements in all magnets and 100% recycled tin soldering and gold plating in multiple printed circuit boards. The frame and battery enclosure contain 100% recycled aluminum, and the light seal and solo knit band are made with over 70% recycled yarn. Vision Pro meets Apple's high standards for energy efficiency and is free of mercury, brominated flame retardants, PVC, and beryllium, Beryllium. Beryllium. What is that? Beryllium is a chemical element with the symbol Be and atomic number 4. It is a steel gray, strong, lightweight, and brittle alkaline earth metal. It's toxic as both a skin irritant and an inhaled substance and can result in dermatitis, acute pneumonitis, and chronic pulmonary disease. The first signs of serious or life-threatening acute beryllium exposure may involve difficulty breathing, chest pain, or shortness of breath. Okay, geez. Where is it found in everyday life? Oh, it's just in the dirt. It's in the earth crust and in the air, soil, and water. Every day, people are exposed naturally to small amounts by breathing the air, drinking water, and eating food grown in soil. Okay, interesting. So what are they putting it in a bunch of stuff? I guess it's just in the elements of the metals they use, so that they make sure that it's not there. Okay, well, there you go. The packaging is 100% fiber-based, bringing Apple closer to its goal of eliminating plastics in all packaging by 2025. Today, Apple is carbon neutral for its global corporate operations, and by 2030 plans to be carbon neutral across the entire manufacturing supply chain and life cycle of every product. Okay, well, let's take a look now. We've reached the conclusion here with the pricing and availability. Apple Vision Pro will be available starting at $3,499 with 256 gigabytes of storage. Pre-orders for Apple Vision Pro will begin tomorrow, Friday, January 19th at 5 a.m., with availability beginning Friday, February 2nd. Apple Vision Pro will be available at all U.S. Apple Store locations and the U.S. Apple Store online. Zeiss optical inserts readers will be available for $99 US, and Zeiss optical inserts prescription will be available for $149 US. Apple Vision Pro comes with a solo knit band and dual loop band, giving users 2 options for the fit that works best for them. Apple Vision Pro also includes a light seal, 2 light seal cushions, an Apple Vision Pro cover for the front of the device, polishing cloth, battery, USB-C charge cable, and USB-C power adapter. What do you think? Are you ready for your Vision Pro pre-order tomorrow? I can't wait, and I will have a follow-up episode based on the pre-order experience. And also, I want to dive into some of the developer communications from Apple about getting started with developing for Vision Pro. It's really a moment to savor. It feels like the night before Christmas. Thanks so much for joining me on this special Reflections episode of Zero to Start. And I hope this episode helps shed some more light on the details for the Vision Pro and gets you started thinking about how you might take advantage of this new era of spatial computing. Subscribe to Zero to Start on your favorite podcast platform and follow our podcast page on LinkedIn. Be sure to check the show notes for links and resources to the items that we cover on today's show. And you can always support the podcast by giving us a rating and sharing this episode with your community. Until next time, happy spatial computing.